Welcome to Our Life the Way. DIY Garden Bed. Contrary to popular belief, you can create absolutely stunning curb appeal without stepping foot into a commercial store. You likely don't even have to leave your property. But first, please like and subscribe to shake up YouTube's algorithm, ultimately showing you more of what interests you. So, what we're going to show you. Number one, build without buying. Number two, keeping it simple. And number three, samples. Build without buying. Did you know you don't have to necessarily leave your property to create a beautiful garden bed and much more? In fact, you can indeed create some incredible outside designs without spending a penny. Going with a natural, earthy style can be really stylish. Let your imagination go. Think driftwood, raw slabs of wood, stumps or log sections, rough cut logs, and even branches. No access to wood? Go rock picking. Even paint stones for that whimsical look. Not into rocks? What about repurposing old tires? And of course, there's our ultimate favorite repurpose item, pallets. So you may have the extra cash to spend, but you also have a passion for repurposing what's around you already. For us, it's a mix of not having a lot of extra resources, but also having the desire to use what's already readily available and accessible for us where we are. We live in a world that's highly focused on commercialism. Messaging is all around us to spend, spend, spend. Convenience over effort. We love putting a bit of creativity to the test and seeing how we can transform different things. Keep it simple. I get it. When looking at design layouts and searching online for examples, it's so easy to get wrapped up in complexity. You get your paper out, you start looking at what can be done, start your design, and before you know it, you're overwhelmed. You scrunch that paper up, toss it, and likely you stop your idea in its tracks. Don't let your project get out of control. Take a look around at what materials you have at your disposal, and then let your imagination roll. At the risk of sounding redundant from other videos, repurpose and reuse wherever possible. By focusing on what materials you do have or what you have access to, it should help minimize the complexity of your project. In the next section, we'll share a number of different design ideas as well as how we used what was right on our property to create a rustic yet simple garden space. Samples. Here's where you get to let your imagination run wild a bit. Some basic examples of items that can be relatively easy to find, repurpose, or transform. Using old barrels, old pieces of wood to create garden boxes, stumps, pottery, old containers that may be lying around. Pallets or wood can be easily made into garden gates and just create that nice, beautiful, rustic look for you. Rocks or stones to create natural edging or boundaries for gardens can be such a beautiful touch. Or even to use for driveways and pathways. Pathways can also be turned into accent areas with existing rocks or even old bricks. If your yard or terrain is sloped, consider terracing it with brick or stone walls. You may also have some areas that have bigger boulders, but don't let that overwhelm you. Use it as an accent piece, just adding some plants or flowers, some kind of greenery to really focus in on that natural beauty. Repurposing items that can create amazing curb appeal and beauty. Old tires. Some may think it's tacky, but you know what? Why not use it? You can paint, or you can just use it as a garden bed area. You can use old logs or even cut a log out, carve out the center for an amazing planting piece. Even an old wheelbarrow can be something that you just put dirt in and use as an accent piece. So there could be endless ways to use what you have at your disposal. You can head to Google or Pinterest or anywhere online to get inspiration. We had an abundance of wood at our fingertips. So naturally, we decided to go in that direction. The garden area really is my baby. And for me, often my ideas evolve as I put things together. So as you can see in the photo, I used tree sections for outlining or creating a boundary. I began filling the inside with branches, fertilizer. We happen to have rabbits, so therefore we have rabbit poop, leaves, dirt, and that dirt was just dug from places on our property. I edged the sections with tree poles and with rock. The section shown here is where I planted raspberry canes. We also have free-range chickens, which worked for our advantage, at least at first. They dug up the dirt and fertilizer like a mini rototiller. So it's basically like I didn't have to rake it up at all. After planting, though, we decided to fence off that area just in order to preserve it. Otherwise, the chickens would just tear it all up, and everything would be for naught. As you can tell, there's really nothing extravagant here. It's simple, but I like it. As a final touch, I added straw, and this is just to retain the moisture. Really, this is just a planting aspect now and not even the design. So I just wanted to drive in the message that something can be effective, practical, and still have an element of style without costing a lot. In fact, with our case, the design didn't cost a thing. So now you've got the goods. So let's look at our recap. We looked at building without buying, keeping it simple, and then we looked at samples. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Our Life the Way. And remember, make sure to subscribe, like, and even share with somebody that you feel this could be of value to. See you next time.